All right, thanks, Alexis. Now, all eyes on Mitt Romney this morning as results from Super Tuesday roll on in. From delegates to primaries to caucuses, what does this all mean? Now, here to give us a better analysis is Matt Moore from the South Carolina Republican Party. Mr. Moore, thank you for coming this morning. We appreciate it.
Good morning.
I know it's bright and early for you, but thank you again. Well, you know, a major win last night for Mitt Romney, winning 5 states. Explain why Ohio is such a major player when it came to Super Tuesday.
Ohio is an important swing state in the general election. It's roughly 50-50 Democratic Republican. It was really a test of Romney's strength going into the fall, potentially facing Barack Obama.
All right. Okay. Now, Ron Paul coming in last on Super Tuesday, and even on the latest, you know, different primaries, things of that nature, he's always been the last person. Does this give us a better look at to say, well, right now he's out?
Well, he has won some delegates, of course,
okay.
And I think what the thinking is in their camp is that he has some delegates going into the convention. Potentially, those delegates could earn him a nice speaking spot at the convention. And of course, for Ron Paul, it's never been so much about maybe winning in this election, but it's about having driving the conversation, earning those delegates, and maybe changing the direction of the Republican Party, which I think Ron Paul, to a great degree, has done.
Speaking of delegates, so many different numbers. We hear delegation numbers from 437. We're hearing 419. We're having 391. Different numbers. Everyone's doing different ones. Explain all that to us. What is the number circus about?
You need a PhD to understand the numbers.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Last night the number was 437, 419, 391, depending on how you count. It depends on how you count the caucus states, especially. We mentioned caucus moments ago. A caucus is different than a primary. A caucus is basically a neighborhood kind of style, a gathering of voters in an area or in a state. They debate and discuss certain candidates, and then delegates are chosen, and those delegates presumably might vote for the person at the national convention, but the result of the caucus is not binding, unlike a primary, where those delegates are bound by the result of the primary.
Locked in that you have to vote for Matt.
So, for example, last night, Mitt Romney's campaign didn't count the delegates in North Dakota, which Rick Santorum won, because those delegates aren't necessarily bound to vote for Rick Santorum at the convention, which is an interesting thing.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. So they could, in turn, vote for Ron Paul or Gingrich.
Potentially so, and there are also something called super delegates, which we heard about in 2008 with Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. Those are the RNC members. There are 3 from each state. Romney's campaign didn't count them either, because they can vote however they'd like to at the convention as well. So, all told, last night Romney had a pretty good night. He won a majority of the delegates that were available. He won 6 out of 10 of those states. And to this point, he's won 13 out of 22 contests in these states. So it's kind of a slow drip to get to the finish, but it's coming soon, I think.
What does this momentum say about Mitt Romney's campaign? Because, you know, at first he was sort of like the underdog in a sense. Remember when Newt Gingrich was like, all eyes were on him at one point. Sure. Then now it's like, Team Romney.
Well, with Romney's organization and money, and money he's raised from donors and super PACs, he's been able to, in some races in Michigan and Ohio, 2 recent examples, come back pretty handily and win when perception was that he was down.
Right.
So it looks like pretty soon here the math's going to rule out some of these candidates, and we're going to see Mitt Romney be coordinated, so to speak. But the way the rules are set up this cycle, it's a bit different than previously. We haven't seen that coordination so far.
That's awesome. Matt Moore, thank you so much for coming this
morning.
Thanks
a lot,
We really appreciate it. With the South Carolina Republican Party. Matt, thank you once again.
Thank you.
What's still ahead this morning on Good Day Columbia Live?